Okay, guys, welcome to this customer journey and customer research session, which is a part of the beginner series guide for the Agile 20 Reflect Fest. So first of all, I'd like to thanks to all the organizers of the event for this amazing opportunity to be here and to present my sessions. So a few words about myself. I'm a co-founder and faculty director at Flex Growth Group. We deliver high quality professional trainings and workshop on agile, innovation, and process improvement related topics. So I have more than 8 years of experience in technology sector and various certifications in agile, IT, technology, etc. Okay, so what we're going to review in this session is the agile versus real-time customer research, and also we will take a look at the customer journey technique we use frequently in agile teams. All right, so let's get started with the real-time customer research. Okay, so what is that? What is the real-time customer research? In this case, it's usually a large-scale research, right? So we usually use some large-scale campaigns which have a singular course of action. So this type of research is technology-based, okay? So we use social media analytics, big data analytics, business intelligence, and so on, as well as some more technology-related stuff like mobile diaries that allow us to, to know about, day-to-day customers' interaction with our applications. We also use blogs, geo-fenced surveys that allow us to, to send surveys based on the customer location, as well as eye tracking and ethnographic studies. All right. So this is basically it, right? So it allows us to, to have some real-time picture of what's going on with our customers. So what are the pros of this research method? So as I said, it's a technology-based method, right? So we do not rely on participant memory because everything is going on the at present moment, right? So and also it allows us to get deep insights into the brand's weaknesses. Okay, so this is it, right? But what are the cons of this method? Well, in this case, as it's a real-time customer research, right? We would get some spontaneous response from our customers, and these responses are not always the truth. Okay, so that's why it means that the data we get can be deemed out of date quickly, right? So it means that not only that it's some obsolete data, but it's more about it related to the spontaneous responses we get, because the first impression I get from the application might not necessarily be the true, right? So the first response was okay. So I was okay when I first saw the application, but after a few days my perception can be changed. And I say, okay, well, it's not that great as I expected. So, my first impression in this case doesn't count, right? Also, real-time customer research is all about multitasking. So we are asking the customer to interact with the application, and we track the responses, which is not always a good idea to do, right? So, and the last but not least is that this method is not that appropriate for collaborative products. It's all about a single customer interacting with a application, but it's not necessarily the truth, right? So we have a lot of collaborative products on the market nowadays. So it's really not the best way to track the progress with our customers. Okay, any questions on this research method? Okay, let's go next. And now we will review the Agile customer research. Okay, so the flow for the Agile customer research would be, some standard Agile flow where we explore, we have a hypothesis we'd like to check, then we test, then we validate, and based on the outcome we get, we can optimize our results and how we interact with the customers. Okay, so, and we track, as it can be seen here from this slide, we track the progress constantly. Okay, so Agile method here is small iterations based. Okay, so as we saw on the previous slide, we work in iterations, right? So each iteration is a short period of time, normally between 2 and 4 weeks, right? So working this way, we have some short feedback loops with the customers. So this allows us to respond better, right, to any changes that we notice. Okay, and also this agile customer research method allows us to collaborate, to share intelligence within the team. Okay, because we have all of this stuff usually. So we have our iteration, we've got some results, then we review the results, we have a kind of retrospective where we share our opinions, we share what went well, what went bad. Okay, so and that's why we can collaborate together to find a better way to act, right, during the next iteration. So the pros here is that agile customer research is not tied to any particular tools, so different tools can be used. Also, as I said, we have shorter feedback loops, which allow us to respond fast. And as we are talking about some customer research and marketing related stuff, it allows us also to have some better content offerings to our clients. Okay, so, but what are the cons of this method? Well, as we work in iterations, and things change fast, and that's why we could get some, mixed messaging in this sense. So, we got some response from the customers, and we say, okay, let's change our campaign message, or let's tweak something, yeah, and we do it. But the next day we've got a different response. So that could frustrate our campaign, and we need to be careful with that. Right. So after that, in case we have some traditional approach in place within the organization, we would require some, advanced tuning to be able to use this agile customer research approach efficiently. Because if it's not implemented correctly, it could be a huge distract to the organization. As I said, could be some frustrated campaigns and so on. So not that good for the organization. Okay, any questions about this research method? Okay. Now let's review the customer journey technique. So before we review the method.
Yury, sorry, I don't want to stop you. There was a question in the chat at the bottom from.
Okay, let me check.
I think I know. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. I don't know if I did. Just as, can you give some more detail? But I don't know what that was in relation to. If Dudu wants to unmute, I'm happy to do so, and just expand on what you were looking for. I'm sure
yeah, that would be nice, because I'm not sure more details on what exactly.
Yeah, oh, hi, sorry. I just, the last bit that you talked about, which is the agile method of research, you didn't go into much detail. That's why I was just asking. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. So the last part, you said last part about the cons, or last part about the the process itself, about the flow.
Yes. Basically, you talked about the process, but you didn't talk about like what you would normally do, if you know what I mean, like the activities you would go into to sort of. That's what
Yeah.
that was.
Okay.
I was kind of
Okay.
interested in.
Yeah. Yes, I got your point. So let's see. Let's see. In fact, as I said, it's not any specific tools based method, right? So you can do whatever you think is good for your marketing campaign, for your customer research campaign. So it could be some maybe A/B testing techniques. Okay. Also could be the same customer journey, right? Or maybe you'd like to work with some specific focus groups. Okay, get some feedback, then do some retrospective, and after that tweak your marketing campaigns, or maybe tweak some message advertising campaigns, and so on respectively. So
So you're talking about, okay, so you say you use a certain method. You start your campaign with a certain method, and then you do a bit of you sort of review the results you get, and then decide if you want to continue with that. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. That's the idea.
Okay,
That's the
okay,
idea.
I get you. Thank
Perfect.
you. Yeah, but please,
Okay.
as you go forward, if you just give, when you're, I'm just saying, if you're talking about this, if you just give us some more examples, so it's easier for us to understand.
Okay, no problem.
Please, yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
no problem. Right. Any other questions before we start with the customer journey?
Nothing in the chat, Yury. Nothing in the chat.
Okay. Let's move forward. Right. So customer journey. Before we review the technique, we need to ask ourselves some important questions. So the first one would be, how do you know what your customers really want? And what if we were in our customers' shoes, right? So these are some important questions we need to ask ourselves in order to understand our customer better, right? So, but this is not that easy, because sometimes well, it's because your point of view, because any person would have his or her point of view, and most of the times it's quite subjective, right? So it's a subjective point of view, not an objective one. That's why it could be quite complicated to to really understand what our customers experience interacting with our product, right? So, and the customer journey, in this case, it's the whole travel they do while interacting with our company, brand, our products, our applications, whatever it is. Okay, so, and the customer journey is the technique that would allow us to understand it better. So, and the best option to understand, well, first of all, we need to visualize. We need to visualize what's going on. We need to visualize the complete journey. So how we do that? Let's review an example here, and after that I'm going to show you some more practical example of a customer journey map. So here we have a simple example of this customer journey map, and it's all about some, some maybe a website where a customer could choose from a different product, from different options, and after that, make an order, place an order. Right. So what we have here, here we've got customer steps, right? So basically, these are the steps that of our journey, right? So first of all, it's searching for options. After that, explore different options. Next, select between different options. So the customer would be able to select between different options. And after that, the customer would place an order. Okay, that's okay. Here we have insights. So what are the insights? Insights basically are some comments the customer has on a particular step, right? So it could be some good feedback, some positive feedback, some negative feedback, and so on. Okay, so each step contains an insight attached to this particular step. And here we have the emotions map. Okay, so this example shows us, good experience, bad experience. Okay, so we can see that this graph changes over the steps of our journey. As we can see that searching for options is good, right? While explore different options is bad. So something happened here which doesn't allow our customer to, to have some good experience, good interaction with our website or application. After that, we have the third step with some good positive insights and and emotions attached to this step, and we can see that the last step, something has happened there because the experience is negative, right? Now let's review some more detailed example. Can you see it here?
Yeah, that's coming through, Yury. I think everybody will be able to see that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, perfect. So on here we have some more detailed example, right? So let's imagine that we have a website to buy and sell cars. Okay, so in here we have basically the same steps, but now we understand that a customer would like to buy or sell a car. He would search for some options, then he'd like to to go through the list that appears on the screen to choose from some different options. Maybe he'd like to compare some different options, and then he'd like to place an order. Okay, now the emotions map here, take a look at that. We have some more detailed states here, right? So we have some positive states, which is green. We have some neutral state, which is yellow, and we have a red one, which is -1, and it's red. Okay, now let's take a look at the first step. We see that the emotion is quite positive, right? So it's good. And taking a look into insights, we can see some comments from the customer part, right? So it says intuitive interface and short waiting time. Good. Okay, so we see that that's okay, right? But the next step is neutral. So, obviously we'd like to know what's going on here, and we can see some comments here, right? So we can see a comment, so good user interface, but next comment is about lack of functionality here, is that it says impossible to sort by price. So yeah, most likely we need to check here, right, and to enable this functionality, because for now it's impossible to sort by price, and well, this affects the our emotions map here, right? Because we could have it in green, but for now it's yellow due to this slight issue, or maybe it's not that slight issue from the customer perspective. Okay, and the third step here, we see that it's negative, right? So what's going on? Here, the step says compare different options. So, well, the application, the website should have, an option to compare between two different types, most likely between two different cars, right? The customer would like to review better. But here we see why is that, why here the experience is negative? Because, an error appears here. Error after clicking the compare button. So basically, it means that, the compare function doesn't work properly. It doesn't work at all, right? So that's why the experience is negative, because, the customer expectations in this case, we can't meet it here. So that's quite bad here. So we need to take some actions to improve the experience here, right? And the last step, order placement, and we see that the experience is quite positive. And let's read the comments here. So nice interface, wide range of payment options available. So we can see easily that the experience is great. The interface is nice. And most likely no changes are needed for now. Okay. So any questions regarding this particular example?
So nothing in the chat. I don't know if anybody's got anything they want to unmute. Happy to ask.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back then to the presentation and
can I quickly ask a question? Okay, with the so with the insights, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you getting that feedback? Is it through research or you're just assuming it?
So as I said, usually when we use this, technique, we work with a focus group, most likely, right? So we have a group of customers that are using the applications, and we just gathering this feedback on a meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
So most likely this is the way, but if you see any other way to do that that is appropriate, right? So you can do that easily, because we don't have, as I said previously, we don't have any limitations regarding how you do that work, applying some agile customer research methods.
Okay, cool. Sorry, one of the reasons I'm on this I'm watching, and the reason I'm asking so many questions is I have an assignment that I have to do. That I have to do something like a user journey as well. So that's why I'm kind of really keen about it.
Yeah. In this case, if you have this assignment, I would say that you can doing it with a focus group would do the trick. So you just you select some customers, some maybe key users, depending on the project you're working on, right? So if it's an internal project, most likely would be a bit easier, but depends again to gather together.
It's academics.
Okay. Well, if it's an academic, well, it depends. So if you conduct a research for some external group of people, you just need to, to target some of them, to find a way, basically, maybe by a survey or maybe by some, advertisement that said, okay, so we're looking for a focus group to interact or, to conduct our research. And, when you have your group in place, just go ahead, creating some, some similar board with the steps, right? You'd like to go through with your focus group, and after that you just gather these insights like that, right? So you can facilitate the session, basically just having this insight, having your post-its, be it virtual or offline meeting, and each participant just go through the steps and put the post-its on the wall, be it offline or virtually, as I said. So, and in the end, you will have, the complete picture and, all the insights regarding each step you'd like to review.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Right. So, and let's review the last few slides here. Just one moment. All right. Yeah. So, and here we have, all that compose our customer journey map, that actions, what customer basically does in order to get through to the end of the journey, right? So the motivations, basically, so what encourage or discourage our customer from proceeding to the next step of the journey, what questions he or she asks while going through this journey, and what are the obstacles, in this case, as we saw with this negative example, that an error appeared on the screen, so meaning that the functionality basically doesn't work at all. So what are the obstacles that on the way, between the customers and the excellent experience of the journey. So, and well, in order to optimize the customer journey, we need, first of all, understand our customer, right? So, and as I said, we need to launch some test interactions with the product or service using focus groups or A/B testing, most likely, right? Or any other method that you think is appropriate for your environment. Then we need to document each interaction. So that's why we have this insights section. And after that, we need to create some customer feedback surveys, which could also help us to, to understand our customers better. We could, for example, if we're interacting with a focus group, we gather all the insights at the moment of the session. But after that, let's say the next day, we could send a customer feedback survey, and after the session, maybe the customers would say, okay, so we're going to think about that, and the next day some thoughts appear, to get some more detailed and well-formed feedback on the yesterday's session. Okay. Right, and here I got some links for you with some articles to review that are about customer journey and real-time agile market research, as well as customer research. So, and that's it that I have for today. Any questions regarding the presentation, or maybe you'd like to discuss as we have a bit of time, maybe you'd like to discuss some, real world.
Little bit of a connectivity problem. Kind of broke up quite a lot at the end there. I think we got the gist of it. So that's the end of your slide piece. Any questions for Yury? Anybody want to know a little bit more? Wanting to expand on anything? Give some more real world example? Share some of his own kind of experiences wrestling with the challenges of these things? You've still got time. Like your sessions for another 20 minutes or so. So yeah. Plenty of opportunity. May as well pick the man's brains while you can.
Hi, I've got one.
Okay, I can.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy for me to go ahead. My question is just around level of detail that you go into a customer journey. Because I think it's very easy to start going down to keystroke, but I don't know whether that's relevant or necessary. Be interested to know what you think about that.
Well, in fact, it depends because you could do that in some free way. By saying that, I mean that you can do, you can just share the post-its with all the participants, saying, okay, so anything you think is worth mentioning, you can just put it on the post-it and then put it on the wall, right? But also you could use some more detailed insights form, or maybe you'd like to to develop some template about that, right? So maybe you'd like to have a template for your insights in form of some some positive feedback, negative feedback, neutral, why it's neutral. So maybe you'd like to gather more details, and it's of course possible. Depends on just what level of details you'd like to get, right? Because usually if it's some simple session, we could use just some post-its without any templates. But if you'd like to gather more details, or maybe you have some specific focus on that, in this case, yes, you'd be it would be a benefit if you use a template that would allow you to get more insightful data for your project.
Brilliant, thank you. And then if you don't mind, just one follow-up one as well is around how you avoid making it a process map, because I tend to fall into that trap. So I just wonder if you've got any advice on that as well. Thank you.
Well, I'd say try to work with some small groups of customers, and it would allow you to get it under control. Because if you have a huge group of customers, most likely it would be really complicated to get all the feedback, or even, well, imagine that you have a session, be it virtual or offline, and you have, more than 20 customers participating. Would be complicated to get the feedback, and also it would be time consuming from both parts. So it's not that practical. So I'd say my advice is, work with small groups, but these groups in this case should be some very representative groups. So not only some people that some in general, but as I said, if you have some specific focus, work on choosing some participants that are key users and so on. So that's why you would be able to get better results.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so I saw a question. Can you
stuff in the chat?
Yeah, let's see. So can you? Yeah, I'm reviewing it now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I see it. I'm reading it now. Can you do something on buyer personas later? Well, in this case, something, yes, we could do, in this case, that's why I told you about the real-time research, because it's not that, I'm not saying here that, real-time research, we need to replace agile customer research completely with the real-time research, but we could use some real-time research tools for our agile process, right? So, and if I understand correctly your question, so about the buyer personas, I say that yes, you could send some surveys, or you could use this geofenced service as well, based on the customer location and so on. But here it will completely depend on what you'd like to achieve by that, right? So a good idea is to gather all the feedback during the session and then follow up with some survey or follow-up email, etc. Or maybe conduct a series of sessions with the same persons to understand a bit better what's going on, depending on the type of project you're working on. Yeah, regarding the links, yes, I'm going to upload a PDF with all the clickable links, so to the Meetup website. So I'm going to share the link shortly after we finish our session. Which apps do you use to visualize customer journey maps? Well, in fact, well, in my practice, I use Miro, the same app. I'm going to show it again. So this is Miro. Yes, this is a canvas. So in here, this is a very nice tool to visualize the customer journey map or any other activity, right? So maybe it's not that practical to, as I said, in case of using some templates for the insights. Well, it's not that practical, maybe, right? So, or maybe some really simple templates for you could post to the post-its, but it's not really practical. So I'd say well, I'd say you need to think about that in more details, in case you have some some templates in mind that you'd like to use on your project. For research, how many people are enough to get results? Well, as I said, it's not about people. It's well, let's say it's not that about people. It's more about how you choose participants for your focus groups. That's it. So most likely you'd like to have some key users, as I said, for your application, etc., or maybe some some key representative of the group, depending on the on what kind of research you'd like to conduct, because it depends, right? If you'd like to collaborate on this one, so to provide more details, happy to help. What are top mistakes people do when doing research, something totally non-agile? I'm not sure I quite follow what kind of mistakes and what kind of, I mean, something totally non-agile. Well, non-agile, let's see if I understand correctly your question. Well, you don't do, you're not creating any improvement actions based on the results you get on the sessions. But in this case, yeah, well, to me, it sounds kind of nonsense, because if you do this session with this customer journey map, most likely you'd like to have some feedback to gather after the session is finished. But if you don't do that, well, that's kind of strange and weird to me. So, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
It's like, Julia, does that help? Does that answer your question? I can't see you on my screen anymore. Might not be able to talk at the moment.
She dropped thanks, so I guess, well,
cool, great.
it resolved the doubt, right? Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, she's good.
Okay, perfect. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, if there's no more question, I think we're good to finish the session. So as I said, I'm going to upload the presentation in PDF with all the clickable links. So, and yeah, as soon as the video recording is available on our official channel, we'll let you know by the same way on the Meetup website. So thanks a lot, everyone, and have a nice day. Cheers.
Thanks, Yury.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, thanks for joining us.